Well, I think it might screw up on YouTube if I do that.
Oh yeah, it might
Yeah,
because
that's
YouTube,
naughty.
it
That's
is
naughty.
naughty. It is naughty.
But every now and
And
then I'll kind of bounce out and do it. Give me 1 second.
I picked up cigarettes again. I've been so fucking stressed.
I
So
understand.
it's
I'm not
yeah.
judging. We listen and
Jennifer's
we don't judge.
yeah, Jennifer's like that. She's like, I get it too. Like,
Yeah.
it's been a fucking rough few months.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and the fact that I'm not getting any work is also annoying. So it's just me sitting around, and it's too dangerous for a trans girl to do like food delivery and stuff around here. And even if I wanted to, the pay is just shit because people don't tip. So,
Right. Right.
anyways, oh yeah, we're recording.
Are we?
Hey, yeah, hey everybody, welcome to my podcast, the Venestradiol podcast. I know it should be pronounced Venestradiol because it's estradiol, not estradiol, but I call it Venestradiol because go fuck yourself.
I love it.
I'm Vanessa Joy. Today I am joined by.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and you can find me on TikTok and Blue Sky at translovinmama. I am currently still on Instagram, but probably going to make my exit there pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm only really using meta platforms now for my photography work because that's where the clients are. But
Right.
I've moved all of my angry liberal bullshit to Blue Sky. So, and I should probably do some TikTok again, but even that's fucking corporate overlords too.
I
The
know.
whole shutdown was so shady.
That was completely,
So,
that was so weird.
yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it was not okay. So, but it goes to show that we need a new platform, and
Yeah.
I wish I had some sort of coding ability to come up with a better platform. Did you get on RedNote at all?
I tried, but in order to get on it, they have to send you a verification code via text.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got a new phone a while back, that ability went away.
Really?
I called my provider. I've been to the AT&T store. Yeah, I know AT&T is the devil too, but everything's the devil at this point.
It is.
And I seem to just, yeah, I really can't get through to somebody on the phone. But yeah, it'll all work out. But I didn't end up getting on RedNote. I mean, I can scroll on there. I just can't do anything.
It's cute. I haven't done much, but I posted some dog pics for my cat tags, and but the entire thing is it's a lesson in humanity and amazingness, in that the Chinese population and the U.S. population have never had any real interaction ever. And all we hear is from our governments how horrible the other side is.
Right.
And now we have the individual citizens talking to each other. And we're like, we're all just people, just living our lives. Yeah. And like, there's been a lot of like rumors dispelled or confirmed in case of like America. Like people are like, you have to pay for your ambulances.
Yeah.
And this, that, and the other is illegal. Yeah. So,
well, there are people on the right saying that RedNote is just a propaganda machine, that it's just like this highlights reel, that it's not real, that we're talking to people who are basically, planted there by the government to make it look like something. And I'm like,
that's a lot of people to plant.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. And I just don't believe you anymore.
No.
I don't believe anything you say on that side of the political spectrum. Sorry, I just don't.
Because they're lying and they don't want Americans on there. So they don't want us to learn about other cultures. And like there's people learning Mandarin and like making friendships and stuff, and I think it's fucking incredible.
It really is.
I think it's one of the biggest things that's happened to our culture in a long time, honestly, on an underrated level. So, but I still haven't used it much really, just because I don't have the.
Yeah, it's a very cool unintended consequence.
Yes, yeah.
Love that.
I don't have the bandwidth for it, so just too much, to deal with. So, but Blue Sky's a lot of fun. I found like some unexpected allies on there. Do you know who Alex Winter is?
No, I'm not sure.
Bill and Ted.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's Bill. And he is hardcore pro-trans. Like his profile at the top says trans rights are human rights. And he posts stuff like in support of our community all the time. And I invite anybody that listens to this to follow him, Alex Winter.
I will check him out for sure.
It's so adorable. And like, I don't know how he popped up on my feed, but I'm glad he did. And he even liked one of my posts, so I fangirled. But yeah, I put him on because on Blue Sky you have those like little lists that you can make. So I made a list of like people that I follow. Not like everybody I follow, but it's like more the creators and stuff like that. And he's on there. So
see, I don't get any of that. I don't know what the list purpose is. I don't know how to make them.
I'm figuring it out slowly.
Popped in, I've seen people like post certain lists of like, oh, these are great accounts to follow if you're new, or these are great accounts to follow for this. And I'll jump on there and I'll follow them. But I don't know other than that what the purpose would be.
It's pretty much just like starter packs, essentially, where you join the app and you're like, who do I follow? And then just curated lists of people to follow. So, but the algorithm seems to be pretty good about pointing you towards people that
really does.
Follow your I see a floofer. Follow your philosophy. All the floofers.
All of them.
Mine's asleep in the room somewhere. She spends most of her time being emo now.
This little turd right here ate one of those. He's a little turd. His name is Hero. He you know those, like, they're like a stress ball, but when you squeeze them, like those little, you can kind of see through them, and they have those little jelly bead things in them. Well, he ate one.
Oh fuck.
And apparently that's bad. So we had to go to the emergency vet today and spend $300. But thankfully my daughter had it in savings because we just took the other one, not the black one. There's a little brown patron around somewhere. And she scrapped with somebody at some point. We don't know who.
Oh no.
And her eye was all messed up. So I had to take her on Saturday. And I was like, girl, I'm catch out. I don't have any money. Do you have money in savings? Take your dog to the vet? Because I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, that's why I have insurance on Gabby, but that's getting expensive now. Like when she was younger, it was $15 a month. Now it's pushing $70. But if she gets something major, like needs a $4,000 surgery, it covers 80% of it. So it's really the difference in between her staying alive or her having to be put down. And I couldn't handle that right now. So
no, you don't need that.
No.
Stay with us, Gabby.
Yeah, I know. She's very emo, but I'm going to have to set up, like, when I move, I'm going to have to set up, like, noisemakers and stuff to keep her from barking too much, because I don't want her driving neighbors nuts.
Yeah.
She's prescribed as an ESA, so I can live wherever I want as long as the landlord's not a douchebag. I've been just looking at apartments in Washington, so it should be okay with that. But it's been an interesting couple months, hasn't it?
It's been rough.
Yeah. It's
been rough. And, you know, I just did another little TikTok today where I was like, because I'm a very reactive person. And I all of a sudden, I mean, I got pissed on there and shot up to 50,000 followers. Did not intend for that habit. I went from 10 to 50 in a week.
I have like 1,000 followers on TikTok. So
all I did was flip the world off and tell them that they weren't seeing what they were seeing. I was neurodivergent, and, you know.
They had to feel good, though.
It did feel good.
You have to.
I am hated right now. Again, I blasted on lids of TikTok, and you know, they're all coming for me. But the anti-bullying filter of TikTok is actually really effective.
Really? I didn't know there was one.
Very effective. There is.
I need to use it more.
It's fantastic. I had, when I tell you, thousands of comments that were in that filtered comment section, thousands. I hateful people. And I was trying to go through and block them all individually, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's time consuming. Like, I just, whatever. At some point, you just got to be like, okay, you hate me, move on.
Well, another thing too, though, is like once you can get monetized, those comments actually help you. So
I am desperate for anyone who can tell me what to do as far as that, because I am ready. I'm there, but I applied and it asked me for 4 things. It asked me for a link to my current or past employer. Yeah, I know. It asked me for links to articles where my name is mentioned. I know. What is it talking? I don't have any of that.
I don't know. Like I've applied for verification on TikTok a few times, and they didn't ask me for an employer, but they did ask me for links to the articles that mentioned me, and so I sent them Washington Post, I sent them New York Times, I sent them.
I don't have any of that.
Yeah,
nobody.
And like AP, and they said that these aren't reputable news sources. Which okay, yeah, WAPO and New York Times now, no, but AP, yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, what more do you need? I have articles written directly about me in those publications. So
right. So I don't know what to do. I don't understand, because I follow plenty of people that I'm like, I know you're just a nobody like me too. And I don't say that in any kind of hateful way. I already know. Like, you're nobody. You're just a regular person.
That's
I know, we'll get it worked out.
These. If you figure it out, let me know.
I sure will.
I should try again, but like,
I know.
What more do I need? You know?
Yes.
So,
well, whenever I popped off, and right when I was sitting at about 25,000, that's when I reached out to you and said, "Hey, I have enough of a following. Let's do a live fundraiser for you, and let's just."
I think you need at least 50 to start monetizing. So.
No, you need 10.
Oh, 10?
You need 10.
Okay.
And I blew past that quick.
Yeah.
When it happened, it all happened at once.
I don't know why you need articles for monetization.
Me neither.
Are you sure it was for that or
on that one? I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it could have been verification. I don't know. So but I can't do anything for another like 25 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just wait and try again then. I don't know what to do. Obviously, you can't talk to a person and get help.
No. Which is that's annoying thing with all of the social media. Meta's the worst with that. So, like, even just changing anything on there is a nightmare. I turned off all of my ad preferences on Meta. So turned off all the tracking and stuff like that. So,
yeah. Did you go through on your phone and do it too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've done my best.
Like, we shouldn't have to do all this shit.
It all sucks, but hear me out. A lot. What's going to be really critical is we all remember this from the last time. It feels like just bombs dropping constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is just theatrics. But it starts to get hard to tell the difference. And it also gets hard because something can seem really, really serious, and I can't not pay attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's something like ending birthright citizenship. Of course, that's a big deal. That's a humanitarian issue.
Yeah.
That said, it seems very theatrical because it's not going to happen. I mean, the ACLU immediately, of course, came back and sued. That's enshrined in our Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to tell what is just him pandering to his base. All of this is for money. We need to,
it's all about money.
So it's to get us pissed, riled up, but it's also to make his base think, look, he's trying. He's doing something. He's doing it. If it doesn't work, it's because of the Democrats. It's because of the ACLU.
Always going to blame.
Right. Instead of, it was never meant to work.
Mm-hmm.
He knew it wouldn't work. He played y'all again, and he's behind the scenes. He's just selling us.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Does it? Yeah, I know. That doesn't really inspire calmness. I'm not here to say like, oh, don't panic because it's okay. It's not okay.
It's not.
It's just I have to remind myself that there are people who know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. They're more capable. They have the tools. They have the resources. And I have to take a breath and go, I have to trust them to do what they're doing.
I know.
Because there's not much I can do.
Yeah. Like executive orders, it's easy to get freaked out about them. A lot of times they don't work.
Right.
They can go through. It can take a long time for them to go through. But there are some worrying ones, like the one about, obviously the one about trans people, which erasing us from existence. That's not exactly fun. Then I saw, and my girlfriend sent me one today about how they're purging DEI on the federal level. And they go on and on and on about how DEI is discriminatory. it's just fucking white nationalist bullshit. Like, if it has any discriminatory thing, well, it's not discriminatory for one thing. It's in order to give people the opportunity to compete against white people, cishet white people. So it's just mind-boggling, and the wording of it's catered directly towards their base. So
It is.
My fear is that, I mean, this is conspiracy theory, Vanessa, popping out here.
That's okay. Go for it.
But my fear is with Republicans controlling the House, the Senate, the White House, and the Supreme Court, what's to stop them from just holding a coup and just kicking out all of the Democrats or killing them all?
I don't know, man. It took Adolf, I think it was 54 days.
I know.
It was 54 days. Mm-hmm. And you say things like that, and of course everybody wants to be like, well, that's the problem with the leftists. Y'all take everything to this hyperbole. Yeah, I know. I'm very upset with some members of my family, and I've posted about that too. And it came across to one of my family members. I don't know how she saw it. Frankly, I don't care. And she said, it really hurt my feelings that you said that. And I was like, well, here's some things that hurt my feelings while we're on the topic of hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Women's rights are destroyed. Trans and LGBTQ rights are on the chopping block. And she said, well, no. He just wants to end surgeries for transgender illegal aliens. And I'm over here like, do you hear yourself? Does that make sense to you? $200 million on anti-trans campaigns to stop surgeries for a handful of people.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can go into what it means to receive medical care in prison and how,
That's
if you have
scary,
cancer
what's happening
in prison,
there.
With the privatization,
they're forcibly detransitioning trans people in prisons. It's in Florida and probably Texas now. They want to do it federally, where they're shaving trans women's heads. They're making them go to men's prisons. They're taking them off of their hormones. And Florida has set conversion therapy as the preferred method. And conversion therapy, 1, doesn't work, and 2, it's considered torture.
It is torture.
It's like, that's my fear.
To say that, when I hear someone come back to me with, oh no, that's not what's happening. Yeah, I look at them and I think you think you're good.
Mm-hmm.
I think you think you're a good guy.
But you're not.
And I get that it's really easy to look at prisoners and be like, well, who cares about prisoners? I understand that. I do. I'm a true crime fan. I watch people like Sarah Boone, and I watch all these people that I'm like, yeah, I don't really care what happens to you.
Yeah. But true crime focuses on 1% of the prisoners.
Right.
There's so many in prison that are there for nonviolent bullshit. Offenses. So.
And also, even if you're to always be in this point of, but that's not all of it. It's designed to be this step-by-step thing where it begins to bleed over into this, and next it's this. And the whole point is dehumanization. Whether it's a person in prison or a kid in school or a person out, it doesn't matter. When that dehumanization takes hold, it has to spread. Yeah. Because if it's trans people in prison, why shouldn't it be trans people outside of prison? Because we've already said, well, that's this non-human, and it is scary. I don't know how to appeal to humanity anymore and decency. I don't know if they don't have it. I don't think they have it. I can't believe that. I know her and I love her, and she thinks she's a good guy. But they've been so brainwashed into believing that so many people are the enemy that aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. It is hard to reconcile in myself. But for the first time, I'm starting to understand, that thing that people say, like, love the sinner, hate the sin. I'm starting to get it in a weird way. I'm not a believer, but it's like, I love this MAGA, but I hate the MAGA tree. And I don't
even love the MAGAs. I cut them out of my life.
I get it. I don't love that. But I love her. I just do. I don't know how to turn that off. Maybe one day it will, but I don't even want it to.
Yeah. It shouldn't have to.
I know her. It shouldn't have to.
The division is so stark, like so stark right now. It's terrifying. That's why I keep saying, like, we're so close to something big and bad, like be it a coup, be it a civil war. Like when I hear Canada talking about wanting to take on some U.S. states, including the one I'm moving to, I'm like, yes, please do. And
oh my God, can we get married and I'll be a Canadian citizen?
Yes, we can. Okay. As long as we can fuck.
Yeah, and if you want to open that up, like whatever, just like cool, we're cool like that.
I'm poly, as you know. Okay. So
yeah.
But
I don't want to deal with another person, but I'm fine with you dealing with another person.
It's like when I get to Washington, I don't know if I'm going to stay poly or go mono again, like kind of mono, because I'm not breaking up with Jennifer. So we're still going to have a long distance thing. But so technically poly, but I don't know how much I'm going to be focusing on poly relationships out there. So
no, I understand.
Who knows? I need to get there first.
I don't know how to not feel divisive with people who have taken measurable action to harm people I love and to harm. It also doesn't come down to, oh, I'm the mother of a trans person. Oh, I'm the friend of a trans person. Before I knew I was the mother of a trans person, before I had my first trans friend, I knew where I stood on this. It was a event.
It's a human rights thing. It's just
I don't know how to not feel divisive about that. I don't know how to not feel like, I know. What do you mean? Why would you think that's okay to do? And I think that maybe they see it as like, well, I voted for all these things, and I'm sorry if it hurts this 1% of the population, but like, maybe they see it as kind of a cost-benefit analysis. Do you know, like, if it's for the greater good, so it doesn't matter if it hurts a small percentage. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't know, Vanessa.
That's the other thing, though, is they don't know or believe that trans people make up less than 1% of the population. Like a lot of people I've talked to, like I even have my PCP said like 20%. And because I ask people occasionally, like, what do you think that trans population is? And
1 in every 5?
Yeah. And it's just not. But we are so blown out of proportion in the media. We are less than 1%. And it's only, and people are like, stop shoving it in our faces. We don't want to be shoved in people's faces. It's the fucking Republicans shoving us in people's faces because we're an easy target. And the thing is the Nazis started with us too. So
yes they did. Yes, they did. And that's another thing people aren't seeing. And this whole little, I remember the poem on the wall where first they came for the socialists. Nope. First they came
for the trans people. Yeah.
They came for the trans people. They came for the gays. That's who they came for first. That's a great poem and it's very impactful, but it's missing one. It's missing the one. We're watching the playbook unfold. And if you point that out to them, it becomes, oh my God, y'all think everybody's Hitler. Oh my God, y'all think everybody's Nazi.
It's because we know really history. Don't. I have a degree in history. That's my BA. And while I don't remember shit from college, I do pay attention to history. And humanity has this horrible tendency to repeat history, and not in a good way. And people that know history are watching what's going on here, and we're like, this has all happened before. And it's fucking bad. Like the Elon Musk Nazi salute thing. In Germany, they can't even post pictures of it because it's illegal to depict that salute.
Right.
And they're like...
And they're trying to compare it to ones where others done, where people have just been raising their
Exactly. Yeah, like...
It's a whole clip.
Watch the videos.
Watch the videos. And if you saw the side-by-side from the scene from American History X, it's like he practiced it.
There's a side-by-side with him and fucking Hitler.
Right.
And it's identical. So
what do you mean?
What Jenny's talking about with the stills is there's these stills. There's one of Elizabeth Warren, one of Obama, one of
Taylor Swift.
Where they have their arms up, but it's literally in the middle of them waving their hands,
right,
or
to a crowd,
one thing, or pointing or something like that.
Pointing.
It's not the salute. So, and then the response to people saying, "Oh, that's not a Nazi salute." I'm like, okay, go to work and do that in front of your coworkers. No.
At this point, I don't even think that's an effective argument.
No, it's not, because they're not.
Everybody seems to be like, oh yeah, totally. If I went and did that at work, nobody would care where I work.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
Which is scary.
Which is terrifying.
It's a lot of it boils down to people just are not educated, and be it willful or unwillful ignorance.
They're not vulnerable yet. So they don't care that it might affect another population. They just don't care. They know they're safe. Before
I came out, I lived like, I was kind of in tune with things, but nowhere like I am now, because the world saw me as a white cishet dude. Right. And now it's a complete fucking 180. And I have to watch my back everywhere I go. I back into parking spots everywhere. Like,
you went from like the most privileged to almost the least.
I think second most hated. The only more hated is
black.
Yeah, exactly. Are black trans women. So, and trans men are just completely forgotten about by society, which for better or for worse it seems. But like,
it is a weird feeling, because my son being a white trans man, there's a weird sense of like release that I don't know how else to say that. I just want to be honest about my experiences, and my experiences is I'm like, well, at least he's lowest on, it seems to be on the priority list.
Exactly.
But that's why too I'm more and more vocal, because it doesn't matter. I could have just as easily had a trans daughter. We could have just as easily been born in different skin. This is all a luck of the damn draw. This is all an accident. So I don't take that as some form of get out of jail free card. Like, it's still there.
I'm nervous about my trip across the country when I do move. Like, I've decided I'm just not going to stop. I'm going to have all my valuables in my car, so I don't really want to like get a hotel. And plus I have my dog.
If we could help you find a chain of people.
I'm kind of hoping that I can do that, like, because I really need a place that I can stop and take a shit, honestly. So
what if that's something next we work on, whether it be a blue sky, or maybe we reach out to I would never do anything to put you in danger.
I'd have to vet people first,
right?
So,
but I think that that's possible.
I don't really need a place to sleep, because my plan is to just sleep in the car. I'm going to take my Aspirations, which will just keep me fucking wired, and then sleep in the car. But,
I'd like for you to have a safe place to sleep, even if it's like in somebody's driveway, or.
Yeah. Like, I have to keep my car running, because I'm going to have my computer in there, going to have all my photo equipment, like all of my valuables, all my electronics. And like the monitor that I'm using right now is my photo editing monitor. So it's a very expensive monitor, and I don't want to damage it.
Right.
So
these are things that people just don't consider. This whole idea of like, well, if you don't like it here, just leave.
Yeah.
Man, when you say that, when somebody says that, it really is like, they really don't want you to survive, because they're not considering, what do you mean just leave? I have to survive a cross-country trip.
Yeah, I know. And the whole thing, like, if you don't like it here, leave. Fucking, I want to. Yeah. I am trans and I am autistic. Trans people are twice as likely as cis people to be unemployed. Autistic people are 75% more likely to be unemployed than neurotypical people. So, like, my chances of getting a job are fucking abysmal. And it's hard. So, like, when I move, I plan on moving and just setting up roots in Washington. And just ratting out this administration, which hopefully ends in 4 years. Who the fuck knows? I mean, I don't think Trump's going to live that long, but then, Vance will take over and Mike Johnson's still the fucking speaker, which so
the damage is so beyond that.
Yeah.
Sellout. Elon Musk isn't giving up his money within the next 4 years. That's not going to happen. And so I really am kind of at a hopeless place. I'm going to be okay, because I know, other places have gone through a lot and overcome it. We know Germany overcame it. I think we can overcome it. But my prediction is this is not a 4 year
It's going to be very fucking ugly.
Horrible thing.
And it's going to take a revolution.
yeah, we're going to be lucky if we don't get out of it with a lot of damage.
I think the country is going to be a completely different country when it's all said and done. Because
I can't believe my kids have to do this.
I know my son's almost 5, and it breaks my heart that he's growing up through this. So like, Trump was president when he was born, and now he's president again. So I
know.
I just.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Scary. But we're here. We have each other.
Yeah, that's one thing that also, like, we do have each other. One thing, but because you and I trust each other. But I've gotten honest with someone sent me a text saying that there's people that support you, and I appreciate the sentiment. But it doesn't mean anything. Yeah, right. It doesn't mean anything.
I need
like, yeah, like, help me get work. Share my resume with people. Send me fucking money. Help me get out of here.
Yeah.
And just knowing that you support me, well,
I know.
I post constantly trying to get photo work, and it just falls on deaf ears. Hire a queer person. So where I'm going is much more queer friendly. I talked with a realtor out there today to kind of get a feel for the industry, and I mentioned that Ohio completely did away with all of our DEI measures in the government, and Washington's complete opposite. They've really pushed it. Yeah. And her eyes got big. It's something that she can't even comprehend, because it's how it should be there. So is it perfect? No, but it's a hell of a lot better than where I am now or where you are. So
girl,
I'm not allowed to use bathrooms here. So
I'm deeply concerned for families. There are families that I've heard of who are not from here. And my daughter was asking me, people across the street just call about them, and I said,
yes,
yeah, they're not safe right now. They're not safe. It's not when they come knocking. It's not if they come knocking on that door. It's when.
Yeah. Period. And neighbors are the ones that will report you. That's
and
why
over here, I got space.
Yeah.
I got room. But even saying that on here, I don't know. Maybe that's something you should edit out.
ICE has already been seen all over the place. And job hunting, they're recruiting for Border Patrol agents heavily right now. And so, if you see an ICE van and you're in public, just yell "La Migra."
La Migra.
And La Migra. I'm so fucking white.
It doesn't matter. La Migra works too.
Exactly.
They know what we're saying.
And what that does is it alerts them to know that immigration's here, so they can do something. Because they're going to come to schools, they're going to come into homes, they're going to come into churches, and
I just think about all these kids being afraid to go to their own schools. And now what do? You go into hiding like Anne Frank in a fucking attic?
They're already rounding people up for detention camps. So
and we don't know what those camps are. We think we know what those camps are.
No, we don't.
How many people in Germany had no idea what was really happening to those people? They saw them go away and they didn't know. And I do believe that. There were just regular German people like you and me just walking outside and watching people get taken away and thinking, well, they must have done something wrong.
Yeah.
And not knowing what's happening. We are in a better place right now as far as having media and access. But if those are controlled by
it's not being reported on as is right now. So I'm afraid of winding up in one of those camps, because it's what the Nazis did. They started with one group and they just started shoveling everybody in there.
Yeah.
And who knows what the fuck's going to happen there. I don't think it's going to be anything good. My girlfriend mentioned, what happened? What about all the kids that are still missing from the last Trump presidency? And I'm like, they're probably dead. And she said, or sold into sex slavery, which is probably fucking true. Because the Republicans are obsessed with pedophiles and shit like that. And the reason they're obsessed with it is because they're the ones that are the pedophiles and not trans people. I'm so fucking exhausted from it. And
I know. And, I will do a live every fucking Saturday. I'll do it during the week. If we find that that's not a good time, if we want to play with other times, Sunday during the days are always good. Whatever you need me to do. Like, I'm off on Wednesdays, but usually I'm with my mom, but, fuck my mom for a minute. Like, my mom's not in
Right?
imminent danger.
Yeah,
I will do whatever
exactly.
I have to do, and we will nickel and dime it all the way to where you need to be.
Like,
I'm scared for you too. I'm sorry.
I
These dogs.
I just wish, like, as I said before we started recording, like, I haven't worked in 3 weeks. I have not been able to get any fucking work. And so I've had to dip into my savings. Like, all of the stuff that I sold, like, in order to afford to move, I had to pull out in order to pay bills. And then a little bit of my GoFundMe, and I really don't want to touch any more of that GoFundMe because it's supposed to be there to help me move. But finding work around here it's next to fucking impossible. No one wants to hire a trans girl. So because we have been vilified so much by society, like, most people when they meet me, I get told all the time that people didn't know I was trans until I told them. So, but it's just the stigma that, I'm known out there as the trans photographer. Like, Ohio is something like 6,000 Northeast Ohio is like 6,000 real estate agents. I have like 7 clients. And
Yeah, I know.
how does that make sense? I'm better than anybody else, and my pricing is the same or lower. So I don't know. It's just exhausting. I have to get the fuck out of here. The interview process, just job hunting is such a pain. That
Yeah.
I'm getting interviews,
Terrible.
but you never know where they're gonna go. And like, I'm still waiting to hear back. There's like my dream job I'm waiting on, that I interviewed for in early December, and I still haven't heard back. I haven't gotten a no, so that's a good thing. But I haven't gotten a yes, and I don't, if I can get that, I'm fucking out of Ohio, like, as soon as I possibly can.
Right. I assume you've reached back out to them.
Oh, several times. So,
Okay.
And I'm trying to do it without being annoying either. So, and the lady in charge of this one just went on vacation for a couple weeks, so she's probably getting back to an inbox that's just full, when you're on vacation for a long time. So, but I need more interviews. I need something to stick. I don't need a ton of money. I'm looking for jobs that pay like 55 or higher. And Washington doesn't have a state income tax. So, like, if you're making like $28 an hour, you're getting like 80% of your paycheck. So where in Ohio, you only get about 70% of your paycheck. So
Yeah.
there's a big difference there. But like, I need to be able to afford rent, which is a lot higher there. Like, I'm paying $800 for a house here, and a small apartment there's a big difference between a $1,300 apartment and a $1,500 apartment. And I'm trying to push for the $1,500 apartment.
Yeah.
It's like hugely difference just in that $200 in quality.
Well, I would think at about $55K a year, you could swing $1,500.
Yeah, because I
know.
I have bills, and then my child support's going to go up. So like, I've been paying voluntary child support, but I have a court date here coming up soon in order to finally try to get access to seeing my son, because I've seen him once in the past 5 months, and I'm still not allowed to have video calls with him yet or anything like that. So I'm trying to get all that nailed down. Like, I was going back and forth with an agreement, but what I'm asking for, I know I'm bouncing all over the place. Hello, autism ADHD. What I'm asking for is 30 minutes, like 15, 30 minutes a week on a video call with him, and then to see him on his birthday and then after Thanksgiving. And she came back with, yeah, sure, we can probably do that call. I also got a friendship lamp where you touch, it lights up one color, and then he touches it, lights up another. And mine hasn't changed colors. He hasn't touched it in a long time, which I'm thinking that his mom has hidden it someplace so that he doesn't have access to it. Who the fuck knows? I mean,
she just hate you that much?
Yeah, she's gotten really petty. Like, I had a client send me a camera gimbal off of my Amazon wish list, and for some reason Amazon still had my old address set for my wish list when I changed it on everything else. So it got sent to her house. And she just called Amazon, reported that she got this delivery that wasn't for anyone there. Rather than just sending me a text saying, hey, you got a package, can you come pick it up? It was a $350 product that she just wound up giving away. Who knows what she did with it? And so I had to explain to my client like what happened. And luckily my client has a nasty ex too. But it's just petty. You know, yeah, I had a package accidentally delivered to her house. Is it too big of a deal to just say, hey, this got delivered to my house. Can you try to make sure this doesn't happen again? It was complete by accident. And made me have to delay a shoot. And it was like my biggest shoot that I've ever done because I was doing video and everything with it. And anyways, she's wants to allow me.
Because you're trans?
No, it doesn't have anything with me being trans.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, that's great.
It's,
I guess
she's,
yeah, I know.
As far as I know, but it's more just okay, so we're going to back up a little bit and I'll tell you the situation, what happened. So yeah, I know. For context, I'm an autistic, diagnosed technically level 3, which is too severe for what I really think I'm a level 1, but autistic ADHD. And the relationship I have with her was, I feel strongly that she's a narcissist, but I'm not going to diagnose somebody. I just look at the signs. But she can control me really well, whether or not she means it. I don't know if any of it's purposeful, so I don't want to accuse of that. But I'm not myself around her. I'm not a good person around her. I have no backbone around her. And I just cave to whatever because I don't want confrontation. Like, the number one word out of my mouth whenever she's around is sorry. So the agreement was for me to move out at the end of June, which I did. And I wanted to be able to see my son. You know, I was hoping to see him, a couple times a week. And so I'd see him, would hang out, but it was always in a public place. Yeah. First time was at a kid's play place. Then another time we went to the zoo. So the entire time I am masking fucking heavily, using up all my concentration to not lose it because I do not do good in crowds. Yeah. But I'm trying to be there for him. And she's like, it's so clear that you don't want to be there. And that she's like, you're not even trying. And then she said that he's a wreck for a long time after he sees me. And I'm like, it's because he fucking misses me. Right. You know, when you only let me see him once every 3 weeks. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to fuck with him because I was he grew up first 4.5 years of his life, 4 years of his life. I was there every day. And then all of a sudden I'm gone. Right. And then it got to a point where she wanted to meet with me. And I initially was I feel like I was pressured into, she gave me 2 choices, either be completely all in or completely all out. And I can't be completely all in, be completely involved in this life, which I can't do. I struggle big time as a parent. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a good mother. But I recognize that I'm not a good mother. And I believe that my son has autism as well, and we bounce off each other and we trigger each other, and it gets messy, and I shut down. I'm not fit to be a solo parent at all. That's understandable. That's okay. But she wanted me to be there, completely there, full time there for him, or sign away my parental rights and never see him again. Wow. And I initially said, I guess I'll just assign away the rights. But she wanted it to be essentially a closed adoption where I wouldn't be able to see him until after he was 18, and that's if he wanted to. And that fucking destroyed me. And I sat on that for a couple of weeks, and then she reached out. In that meantime, I believe I talked to you and I talked to my girlfriend, and realized that that's completely fucked up and no one should be able to do that. And I actually have a lot more power in this relationship in custody than she thinks. Yeah, I know. So she sent me a text asking to verify that's what I wanted to do. And I said, no, that's not what I want to do. I would like to work out some sort of visitation. Because was very clear that she didn't want me to be able to just see him occasionally. Like, she's like, you need to be a parent full time for that, or like, but if she doesn't want me in his life, it's hard for me to do that. So I went from the middle of August to the middle of December without seeing him, and then finally I was allowed to see him right before Yule in order to give him his presents. And then I haven't been able to talk to him since. I have a lawyer working for me for free through Equality Ohio. They have an amazing service for that because I can't afford a lawyer. She makes about $155,000 a year. I make 20. So, like, she can afford a good lawyer and I can't. But my lawyer's being very helpful. But as soon as I move out of Ohio, he can't work with me anymore. Yeah, boy, I'm bouncing all over the place.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I know.
I'm trying to work out where I can talk to him once a week and give him the ability to contact me whenever he wants. Right now he's too young, really. Like, he's too young for his own phone, but I want to be able to talk with him like on a Saturday night, and then see him in person whenever I'm in Ohio, and on his birthday, and then like after Thanksgiving. And she wants to limit it to only 2 hours seeing him when I'm in town, supervised by her. And all of my interactions with him have been supervised by her. And I shut down when she's around. Like, I cannot handle her being around because it's an abusive relationship. Again, whether she means it or not, I feel like it's an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
And so when I saw him before Yule, I was able to be with him for 3 hours, and with her out of the room. We got a private room at a library, and she came in for a little bit, and then because she was worried that he wouldn't want her out of the room. But so she straight up asked him, like, do you want me to stay or do you want me to go sit out there? He's like, you can leave, mommy. I'm like, fuck yeah. So that made me feel so good. As soon as I saw him, I broke down in tears, and he's like, why are you crying, Dee? He calls me Dee. And then after they left, I just she was driving away, I was just bawling my eyes out, and she looked at me and went,
yeah, I know,
and drove off. I'm like, fuck you. And I was just inconsolable the rest of the day because, like, I love my son. At first, I had made myself believe that I wasn't capable of love, because when you're in an abusive relationship, you know how it is. Like, you lose your sense of self. And so now I just want to be able to see him and talk to him, and I can't. And like, this friendship lamp, when he first got it, he was using it all the time. So I knew that he had access to it because it's fun. You touch it, it lights up a color. So if I touch it, it lights up purple on his end. If he touches it, it lights up a rainbow color on my end. It's a perfect little thing for a little kid to know that I'm thinking of him.
I'm with you. We're thinking of each other. Yeah.
Exactly. And I also got him a globe, and I put little sparklies on it for Ohio and one in Washington to try to explain to him that I'm moving, but it's, it's hard.
Yeah.
She probably, like, she's dealing with a lot, and that she's a single parent, solo parent, which is not fucking easy. With a kid that's very likely autistic, though I don't think that he's getting the help that he needs with that. I don't know if he's autistic, but I want him to be professionally screened. His school did it, but they only watched him as 5 minutes a day for over a period of 2 months, and that's not enough,
Right.
And he's finally talking to his teachers now, from what I understand, but he went a long time without talking to any adults. And so how can you, right. Yeah, I saw your eyes go.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't want him to grow up like I did, with no support, and knowing that I'm autistic now, it makes so many things from my past make sense. I just want him to get the support that he needs, and I'm afraid that he's not, but I don't know. I'm sorry, I have soapbox big time with that. It's something that bothers me deeply.
It's okay. I think. I know. It's so much more of this human experience that people don't. Yeah, I know. I know. Just don't get.
And it's part of the hard part of moving too, is I'm moving even further away from him. But for him, it's not really going to make a difference because he's not allowed to see me anyways. I live
Right.
about an 8-minute drive from him right now. I should be able to see him a lot more often than I'm able to.
Yeah.
But I've been cut off from him. I've been cut off from her parents who take care of him a lot too. So I don't know what's going on there. Who knows what she's told them? Who knows what she's told other people? And I'm sure her side of the story is completely different. And I'm sure I've done a lot of things, completely fucking asshole things that I didn't realize.
Yeah.
And, that's why I'm trying to like make it clear that whether or not she intends for me to feel this way, I do. And this episode got depressing.
My life and my relationships got a lot better whenever I was finally able to really take a look at myself in the mirror regarding my first marriage and say, holy smokes, I was a willing participant in the downfall of that marriage.
Yeah.
And I mean, then it was just like, oh, wow, I did this. This was overt. This wasn't even something unintentional. It was intentional. I didn't want to be held accountable for it. I didn't think, I don't know what I thought, but, being able to do that makes a big difference.
To step back and reflect.
To step back and go, we all participate in our relationships.
We do. That happened. I made a couple long posts about that about a year ago, maybe a little bit more, about my ex-wife and how I was a fucking monster. I was horrible in that relationship. And I put my family in front of her, and she was diagnosed with cancer, and I just was fucking cold and did not care, and because I was brainwashed by my family. I was the worst spouse ever. And I apologized to her.
I was a bad spouse.
Yeah.
For other reasons, in other ways, I was a bad wife.
And it's hard. And
I wish I could take it back. It's not necessarily that I wish he and I had worked out. I think we were kind of doomed anyway because we're both alcoholic. But
yeah, that's never a good mix.
It doesn't matter. What I brought to the table was terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. And I regret it. When it comes to my ex, we were never married, just so you know, but we both have the same last name. I took my son's last name. But we were never married, but having the same last name confuses people. But
yeah,
that's my ex baby mama ex, not my ex-wife. That was complete. My ex-wife was we got divorced 11 years ago, but I was mooching off her. I was living there and just deeply depressed, and that's when I had my suicide attempt last year. And now that I'm out, I just feel so much more free and so much more myself. But I was a burden on her big time, a financial drain, an emotional drain. I'm not easy to live with. I wouldn't want anybody to live with me. So, and
I feel the same way about me.
Yeah, so
I really do.
It's fun to hang out with us for a little bit and fuck us, but then, send us home. So
right. Long term, I'm a slob. And I mean, I'm not a slob, but I'm very untidy. I'm a very untidy person. And I don't care. What do you mean? Why is that a problem? It's just sitting there. It's not touching anybody. It's not a problem. Leave it alone. But it's a problem because it's cluttered. So I'm just an untidy person.
I don't have much clutter. I have little piles of clutter. My desk has organized chaos. My makeup table has organized chaos. But I generally keep things somewhat tidy, but everything's covered in dog hair. So.
Oh, okay.
Because. Dogs.
And then I have my times whenever I'm I don't know why, but I don't want to leave this bed. I think I had started to tell you earlier, so I got on a new medication. Very excited about this. My depression just doesn't really treat well with anything. So they put me on this stuff called Trintellix. And it apparently not only helps with serotonin, but also with norepinephrine and dopamine and GABA. And
it's like a miracle drug.
Yeah. It's expensive as all ungodly hell.
My Aspirations is super expensive too.
But thankfully my insurance actually covers most of it. Like my copay for it is way higher than I'm used to, but nothing compared. It's anywhere from $400 to $600 a month.
Yeah, that's what my Aspirations is like too. And like I had to jump through hoops to get it. Like I had to go through Ritalin and something else first.
Right. Right. I'm thinking that might be the only reason my insurance will cover it, is just because I've been through so many.
Exactly. They want you to try all the cheap stuff first because insurance companies run our lives.
Yeah.
Free Luigi.
Cute. You know he's cute.
Is. I mean,
you know he's
it sounds like he's like a far right kind of wacko, but he's still,
like, even a broke clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, it's the gunpowder plots. Remember the 5th of November.
Right.
He's become it's less him, it's the symbol that he is.
Right.
And that symbol is so fucking powerful. And the oligarchs are terrified of it because more of those can pop up. Yeah.
Right.
You just got
we just gotta thumbs down.
What was I think sometimes it happens. I think sometimes it happens. I don't know, but Riverside, who knows? I like to play for him. I'm like, I need to record.
They heard Luigi and they're like, no.
Yeah. I
probably FBI is listening in now. Like, you're immediately on a list.
I haven't looked up Riverside, but I think I will. Oh, yeah, I'm probably on all the lists. So, I
hope I'm on a list. Come get me.
That's one of my big, like, how they're trying to revert everybody's gender markers on shit. Like, I went through a lot of trouble getting my gender marker changed all the way down to my birth certificate.
Oh, my son's is supposed to be in March, and I told him, hey, buddy, I would expect a name change, but I wouldn't expect a gender marker change.
Yeah, like, I wanted to have mine sealed, but the judge wouldn't do it. So the judge, this judge wouldn't even wouldn't even grant my birth certificate gender change, even though she's required to. So I had to go through a different county. But for my name change, she wouldn't seal it. And that actually wound up my disqualification from running for office, you know. Right. So.
What a see you next Tuesday.
I know. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, you do.
So
want to see a couple new things I got on TikTok Shop, because like right before it went down, I panicked and I didn't have money to spend, but I spent it anyway.
Because TikTok Shop.
This little thing hangs out on your, like, because I do film in my car sometimes, and it was like hangs out on your little rear view.
Do it while parked. Don't do it while driving.
I will not do it while driving. I do it while driving.
I know you do it while driving. I saw a video. And I was mad.
I'm fine. I'm safe, I promise. I don't do it in heavy traffic. I'll stop. And then this is called tallow. And I'd never heard of this. But apparently you like put it on your face and like it makes you look beautiful. So
you're already beautiful.
I'm gonna see if I can get more beautiful. Thank you.
I do miss like the turning off my like targeted ads and stuff on Facebook. It's actually kind of a bummer because I got like the targeted ads were fucking spot on for me. Like I there's so much stuff I'm like, that is me. That is totally me. And now that I turn them off, like I hardly see any content from people I follow. Like I get one post from somebody and then it's like 30 different like suggested things or ads before I get another one. So they're punishing you for doing it because they don't want you to turn it off.
Now I was getting targeted ads by Trump on my Insta, and I always just click like, no, hide this ad, and they'll be like, why? And I'm like, irrelevant. Or one was like, I don't feel safe.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just mark anything, but I'm like, you die.
But it doesn't matter in Meta. So like, we're running out of places to go.
It's so cool. So darling.
But more will come.
You know, this isn't the end of the world. So if it's not the end of the world, then there's hope. It may be the end of the United States of America. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it won't be the end of the world. And so there's always an opportunity. You know, I'm just so worried about who's going to get hurt in the process.
I need a nice Norwegian girl to marry. Right? I would love to go to Norway. So.
I mean it.
Or Iceland. Like I could move to Norway, but you need to be sponsored by a job first. I couldn't move to Iceland because you have to be independently wealthy if you're American if you want to live there. Because, I mean, it's smart. Would you want a bunch of Americans, invading your country? So,
Absolutely
no,
not.
Iceland's smart.
No.
They're like,
Yeah.
they don't have the infrastructure for that many people. So,
Right.
and
Yeah, no. I also, if anybody out there sees this, I am technically unmarried. So I will absolutely like, I mean, especially if maybe, other ladies, turn you down for some things. No problem.
I didn't know you were unmarried now. So,
well, I am, I guess it could be considered common law marriage. I mean, we had a ceremony.
Oh, I didn't know that you weren't officially married.
No, we're not married on paper. Because after my first divorce, I said I would never do that again. Now, I will a woman, 100%. And maybe a nice Norwegian man.
Yeah. So,
and I'm not,
I would marry a nice Norwegian man too. I have fucked 2 guys. And so, like, I would,
Our options are open.
Exactly.
And I am not particular about whether or not you started out with different parts. Don't care. Don't care. Short, tall, don't care.
As long as you're not an asshole.
As long as you're not an asshole.
Decent human being. You
don't have to look a certain way for me. And it's beauty standard. Don't care. Like, if you're an awesome person, I'm going to absolutely adore you.
Exactly.
Now, it helps that you are hot. But
it does.
It does help.
What she's doing? Came in here, started whining, then she grunted and left. So
I know mine are in here. Sexy.
Emo.
Loving each other.
How cute. How adorable.
Yes.
It's
very gay dogs.
That's another thing that pisses me off. How, like, there's many in the gay and lesbian community that, like, are trying to push trans people out, like LGBT, forget the T. And they're, like, allying up with the right. And now the right wants to overturn gay marriage. And,
yes. Yes.
You fucking shot yourselves in the foot. So. Yeah.
I'm just all about everybody just having their natural consequences and repercussion.
I just hate that we're fucking caught up in it.
It is what it is.
When I go to Washington, I'm going to get surgery as soon as I can, get my facial surgery. And then, because I can get it in Washington, I can't get it in Ohio. And then I'm just going to fucking go stealth. I'm just going to be your neighborhood bi-leaning lesbian. So, but.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't blame you. You don't have to be a poster child for anything. My kid doesn't have to be a poster child for anything. Nobody is required to be that. If anything, I do feel like it's more cis allies that need to be like, hey, this is more our fight. Like, you shouldn't have to be front and center for what we essentially have done to you.
It's the same thing with racism.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to equate queer hate and race hate. They are very different. There are some parallels, though. Like bathroom bans, there's a parallel there.
Absolutely.
I want to make it abundantly clear that I'm not trying to downplay racial inequality at all. I'm just seeing some parallels there. And in order to wipe out racism, it is not up to black people, brown people. It is up to white people to wipe it out. And it's the same in order to wipe out queerphobia, transphobia. It's not up to the queer people. As much as we push it, much as we want it and work for it, it's not us that makes a change. So to wipe out racism is going to take a concerted effort by white people. I think it will eventually happen, but it's going to take a long fucking time. So, because it is so deeply, I've talked about this before in the show, racism is so deeply entrenched within us.
Yeah.
And because it's been conditioned into us by our families, by society. And when you step back and look at racism, it's just fucking stupid. There's no reason for it.
Makes no sense.
It makes no sense at all. But it's been programmed into us, and it is up to us and not BIPOC people to deprogram. And deprogramming is not fucking easy. And you're going to make a lot of fucking mistakes. And I still have, just the instinctual reaction to things, which then you have to step back and like, why am I doing that? But it's all I've ever known. up until a more recent period where I've been like deprogramming myself.
Right.
And so I am 100% when I say that all white people are racist, all white people are racist.
We
whether
are.
or not we admit it. So
and we don't, you don't even know it's happening.
Exactly.
Because you think that it's this overt thing. And then I will catch myself thinking something or kind of buying into something, or
exactly.
And it's like that fast, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
Yeah. The important part is catching it, and then
right,
but not expecting BIPOC people to catch it for you. You need to do it yourself and listen to them. Like, there are a number of people that will give advice on posts and stuff like that, and that's how you learn, and that's how you deprogram.
That's the big one. Just freaking listen. When my son came out, the first thing I did, even though I was like, I accept, I love, I support, good deal, I still immediately, first thing I did was seek out trans voices, trans creators, trans people, little tiny, no, not even creators or whatever on TikTok. Just, are you on there?
Right here, the show.
I want to.
That's how we're friends.
I want to know who you are. I just needed to. I needed good examples of what the future held for my kid. I needed to know what was really going on that I didn't know about, and it has changed my life. It has 100% changed my life to do that. And people have got to seek that out, whether it's people of color, whether it's any marginalized people. You're going to have to seek it out. Otherwise, you only know what is fed to you.
Exactly.
And what is being fed to you is always going to have some bias to it.
Just like we were talking earlier.
Why would somebody be feeding it to you?
Yeah, just like we were talking earlier about the misinformation between Chinese citizens and U.S. citizens.
Right.
You know, yeah, like I've been applying to a lot of like diversity roles and stuff like that, where, which luckily will still stick around in Washington because it's state level, not federal level. But a lot of the questions, like on a lot of the jobs I interview for, like they ask you like how DEI and equity and stuff like that impacts you and how you bring it to the workplace. And what I say over and over again on those is that the most important thing you can do is listen and not talk over voices of people that you're talking about. And if you're talking about a group, you need to have somebody from that group, a representative of that group there. So, like, if you're talking about trans people, if you're making laws about trans people, you better have a trans person present. Making laws about black people, you better have a black person present. And but it's that simple.
Like then they go grab like Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, or the detransitioners. So that's the problem. But in a more equitable space, like the places that I'm applying,
right.
If I get a job in DEI, whenever if I'm designing policy or anything, if I'm designing a policy around a community, I'm bringing people from that community in to design that policy, because I can't speak for them. I can speak as a 43-year-old white trans woman from Ohio. That's my perspective. I can't speak for your son. I can't speak for River in Washington because she is a completely different, even though she's a white trans woman. Like, I can only speak for myself. You can only speak for yourself. And we can learn from others, but they need to have a seat at the fucking table. And, or even go even further with that, with decolonization, why is there even a fucking table? So, like, we should all just be humans. And decolonization is another whole thing. Like, there's deprogramming racism, and then there's deprogramming the whole colonization mindset. Right. And like,
and it's all work. And if the more we roll back and dumb down the education system, we just push that progress back. There's no moving forward, and we just head backwards.
Can you imagine what will happen in this country if blue states do wind up seceding? Like, especially California, which is the 10th largest economy in the world. What will happen to the rest of the country without the blue states? Like, it's just going to fall apart. So, but
that's where I'll go. And if it's more expensive, like, I'll figure something out.
Yeah, that's people are telling me all the time, like, Washington's more expensive. Yeah, no shit, because people want to live there. Like, Ohio's cheap because it's a fucking shithole.
Right. No one wants to fucking live in Oklahoma. There's nothing here. There's
like,
nothing here. There's nothing to do.
mm-hmm.
There's no business. There's no, I mean, wait, and I guess unless you own land and you're a rancher, there's nothing here. There's no industry. I mean, there's stuff to do. Don't get me wrong. Like we have companies, you know, I'm not living out in the plains, but
I know what you mean.
Nothing. You know what I mean? It's nothing. It barely sustains the population we have, and not well.
Yeah, there's not even much manufacturing there. Like, there's in Ohio. Ohio at least has manufacturing.
Yeah.
Yeah, rent's going to be higher. Yeah, rent's going to be higher in Washington, but it's worth it. You know, and pay is higher to compensate for it. So it's a nice place to live. It's a place where I'm actually going to be able to leave the house. Like, when you see these videos about Nazis marching in Ohio, where I live in Massillon, in little cities like this, super red cities, that's where the Nazis live. Like, everywhere I go, Trump stickers everywhere, Trump flags everywhere. And I just have to be careful. So,
we'll get you out of there. We're going to get you out of there.
Yeah, we will. So we're going to be doing live on TikTok on Saturday, which this video is going to come out Friday, so tomorrow, in order to, I suppose, fundraise for me. So I have a GoFundMe going as well if anyone wants to help me afford my move. I have enough for a first month's rent. I had more than that. Then I filed my taxes. I'm waiting for my taxes to come back. If you pay TurboTax $25, they'll speed it up by 5 days. So I'm like, yeah, take my $25.
Yeah. Amen.
So, and then I can replenish that then. But like, when I'm moving, I drive a Fiat 500 convertible. There's going to be room for me, my dog, my computer, and electronics, and that's it. I'm leaving everything else behind. So I'm just getting cheap Amazon furniture. But still, I'm going to need about $1,000, you know, just to get everything back up and running again there. So,
minimum.
Just expensive. Yeah, minimum. And just expenses of getting there.
Seems like a very, very low number to me. I have moved and done stuff before.
It's gone. I don't need much, but I do want to set up roots when I'm there. My eventual goal is, as long as I stay in this country, like if things really get bad, I'll have to leave the country, but I can't afford that right now. But my eventual goal is to like set roots in Washington, just make that my home. I only want to come back to Ohio to visit my son and my girlfriend. Never even going to live in Ohio again. So Ohio has this tendency to not let people leave. Like, people will move, but then they always come back. I'm not coming back. Right. So, yeah. So catch us on TikTok. Jenni is translovinmama.
All one word.
Yeah. And I am Venestradiol, everywhere that matters. And so I have a link tree. Do you have a link tree on your...
I don't have a link tree. I need to do one, but I want to say there was I feel like there was a reason I couldn't do that either, and it might have been that they wanted to text me a code.
Probably.
I can't receive. Yeah,
it's so
I can't
fucking
receive verification code. It's very fucking weird.
There must be something blocked, some sort of spam blocker.
I have looked, and I can get it from other places, though.
Really?
So that's what's interesting. But it's more like a 90-10. I've had a few come through, but the vast majority don't. So I don't know what to do.
Give me your case numbers.
I wish I could, but then I don't know, does that like... I mean, I guess I could.
I don't know.
You gonna work?
You can find my Linktree Venestradiol. My link is on my Blue Sky, Instagram, whatever things. And so if you want easy access to find my website, to find this show, I have moved the video version of the show. The Transcending Humanity show still exists on YouTube as a channel, but now all my videos are going onto my Venestradiol channel. And I still have all the back episodes of the podcast on the podcast platform. So, but I just rebranded because when I was burnt out doing that show every week or even every 2 weeks. And so, yeah.
Got it.
But.
Okay.
Love you, girl.
Yes, love you back.
Thank you for being on. And
thank you for being here.
Yeah.
For being you.
Wow, we went like almost an hour and 15.
Look at us go.
I
Hey, at one
know.
point, like my little earpiece fell out and it said it stopped recording on my end, but then it picked right back up. So I'm sorry if you have to deal with that in editing.
Um, Interesting.
Yeah.
It's come through. Like the thing I like about the Riverside platform is it records us each individually.
Right.
When you have a paid membership with it, which I do, I'm still giving them my $20 a month because whatever.
I get it.
They record us individually on our own computers, but then they're also recording combined on mine. So then they stitch everything together, which is very nice.
Good. So it shouldn't disrupt the Apple Card.
And the quality looks a lot better too. Like it's in 1080p. So
yeah, I did like that about it.
Yeah, it's a nice platform. So
all right, pretty princess.
All right. Until next time, my love. Toodles.
Bye.
Bye. How do I stop this? Oh, there.